if you consider
alcohol,
right?
yeah.
What are the substitutes of alcohol? For those who consume alcohol, if you don't get alcohol, what do you substitute it with?
Water.
All right, okay, it's fine. Bukeka, she substitutes water, right? What about others?
Cold drink.
Cold drink.
Yes.
All right, okay, anyway, it's fine. But if you look at it in reality, alcohol does not have a closer substitute.
Yeah.
Which means if the price of alcohol changes, consumers, they are not going to switch on to other products. They are just forced to buy alcohol at a higher price. So hence, because alcohol does not have a closer substitute, it means the demand is insensitive to changes in price. Consumers will not scale down or will not change their consumption because the price is changed, because it does not have a closer substitute. So that is the idea on the closeness of substitute and or complementarity. And then the third thing which affects the price elasticity of demand, it is the time elapsed. The time elapsed price change. Time elapsed since the price change. So what do we mean here by saying time elapsed since a price change? The longer the time that is elapsed since a price change, the more likely consumers are to find a substitute for that product. And hence the more sensitive demand is to changes in the price. If you just consider a very small time period, you'd find that consumers, they would not have found a substitute. So they would still stick to that product. And hence demand becomes insensitive to changes in the price levels. Right. So please, guys, make sure you remember these three things which affects the price elasticity of demand. Proportion of income spent on the good, the closeness of substitute and or complementarity, then the time elapsed since a price change. Right. So let's look at our given options here and see which one of these options is the correct. Option 1, duration for demand decision. Does it affect price elasticity of demand?
No. No.
It doesn't. When you look at duration, it's supposed to be a duration of since the price change. It's supposed to be structured in such a way like that. So in terms of time element, it's supposed to be time since a price change. Right? So option number 1 can be correct. Then option 2, substitutability of resources. When you look at substitute, is it supposed to be substitutability of resources, or we are simply looking at the closeness of substitute or complementarity? So this option, it can't be correct.
Yeah.
Because it says substitutability of resources, not of resources. But the substitutability maybe of that particular product, how easily you can substitute it with another product. Then option 3, time elapsed since the income change.
No.
In terms of time, it's a time since the price change, yes. So this one is also. Then the last one, the closeness of substitutes. Yes, the closeness of substitute and or complementarity. So for question number 1, the correct option is option number 4.
Okay.
Then question 2, the price elasticity of demand is inelastic if you can remember the elasticity, we said elasticity can be inelastic or can be elastic. So we want a condition now where we can say, remember, you do the calculation of price elasticity. It's a number that you come up with. You can remember that formula, is it? You come up, you do some calculations, and then you come up with a single figure. So that number is the one that we can use to determine whether the demand is inelastic or it's elastic. So the question is basically asking you about the condition where you can say we have got an inelastic demand. When do we say that? Let's write it down here before we can look at the given options. But if you calculate your elasticity, right, then if it is a number, when you ignore the sign, if it is a number that is greater than 1, it implies what? We have got elastic demand. Yes. If you do your calculations, then the number that you get, if you ignore the sign, remember, it can be a positive number or it can be a negative number. If you ignore the sign, if it is a number that is greater than 1, then we can conclude that demand is elastic. I'm sure you understand what we mean by saying elastic demand. We mean that demand is very responsive. Demand rapidly changes to changes in the price. That is elastic demand. So this is what I've written here is just a mathematical notation. So don't worry if you don't like numbers a lot. I know some of you might not be comfortable with numbers, but this is just a notation here. Modulus, right? So if you put these straight lines outside of a number, it means you're considering its magnitude, the magnitude of a number. It means you know whether it's a negative number or it's a positive number. You just consider the number itself. If it's greater than 1, then you've got elastic demand. On the other hand, if the magnitude of the number is less than 1, then you have got inelastic demand. So for inelastic demand, it means it's a number between 0 and 1. It's basically a number between 0 and 1. That is inelastic demand. All right. So let's look at our given options. You want to look at the price elasticity of demand if it is inelastic. So for inelastic, as you can see, it's supposed to be strictly less than 1. Right. Income elasticity of demand is negative. True or false?
False.
Yes. This one you can take it out. Because here there's negative. No, it's incorrect. Because, for example, if you do your calculations, then you get your EP, which is negative 2.3. This is a negative number. Right. So because it's a negative number, it doesn't mean that you've got inelastic demand. And in fact, this is elastic demand. Because if you ignore the sign here, your elasticity is 2.3, which is greater than 1, and you've got elastic demand. And then option 2, price elasticity of demand is positive, but less than 1. Yes, that's a correct option. It is positive, but less than 1. So this is the condition here. It's a number between 0 and 1. 0 less than modulus of EP, which is less than 1. So which means it's a number between 0 and 1. So this is the option. Then let's also check on the others. Price elasticity of demand is negative, no? Okay, here they were saying income. Okay, sorry. Here they were saying income, not price. Okay, I just saw this weight here. It's income. It doesn't have to do with income. It's already out. We are not talking about income. Price elasticity of demand is positive, but greater than 1. No.
It's wrong. It's wrong.
If it is positive but greater than 1, then you've got elastic demand. This condition is elastic demand. It's supposed to be greater than 1. So option 4 is out. So please try to watch those videos on elasticity. These parts, they should be relatively easier if you've gone through the video maybe twice or thrice. Right.
Okay.
Question 3. John owns a bread bakery. When he increases the price of a loaf of bread from 10 Rand to 12 Rand, the percentage in the quantity demanded is 5%. Calculate the price elasticity of demand for bread. Right? So the first thing that you can do is to write down the formula for price elasticity, EP. Since you're given something to do with the percentage, you can use a formula with a percentage, which says this is the percentage change in the quantity demanded divided by the percentage change in the price. Right. Then the next step is to substitute. You write down a formula, you choose which formula to write. Because you are given a percentage, if ever you see a percentage in the given information, then automatically try to use this formula with percentages. If it's percentage change in the quantity demanded divided by the percentage change in the price, right? Then the percentage that you're given, it is a percentage change in the quantity demanded, which means you've got numerator here. 5%. Then divided by the percentage change in the price. We can calculate the percentage change in the price because we're given this information in terms of prices. Price is changing from 10 Rand going to 12 Rand.
12 Rand.
So to calculate a percentage change, let me just put it down here, or maybe here. To calculate a percentage change in the price, you say final price minus initial price divided by the initial price times 100%. In any field of study, if ever they ask you to calculate a percentage change, this is the formula. You say the final value. You'd say the final value minus initial value divided by the initial times 100%. That is the formula for calculating anything called a percentage change. It doesn't matter which quantity you're looking at. As long as it's a percentage change, on your numerator is the final value minus initial value divided by the initial. So hence, our notation, we are saying P2 final minus P1 initial divided by P1, which is the initial. Right. We're going to substitute so that we can calculate the percentage change. Right. So the price of bread is changing from 10 Rand to 12 Rand. So that means 12 Rand is the final price. Then where is it starting from? From 10 Rand. Then you divide by 10 times 100%. Then 12 minus 10, you get 2. 2 over 10 times 100%. I'm sure you get 20%. If you can quickly calculate it on your calculators, you'd get something like 20%. So that means the percentage change in the price is just 20%. Then you're going to substitute it here on the denominator. So percentage change in the price is 20%. Then you can use your calculators. 5 divided by 20. What answer do you get?
I also got a 20.
Yes, but I'm saying now 5 divided by 20. What answer do you get? Fatuami, do you have a calculator?
Is 0.25.
You said 0.25, eh?
Yes.
Looking at our options, which one is it? It is option number 4, 0.25. And also add another 0 here after the comma. Doesn't matter. If I can put a 0, you can not choose not to put a 0. It doesn't affect anything. Question 3, the correct answer is option number 4.
Oh, yeah.
Question 4, Ionele consumes cheesecake and tea. You are told that this person consumes 2 things, is it? This cake and tea. When the price of cheesecake increases from 155 Rand to 160, the quantity demanded of tea bags decreases from 10 to 6. Then you can say that. So if you look at your options here, you've got substitutes, complements, normal goods, and unrelated. Right. So the moment you are given such information here, we have got 2 products, tea and cake. For those 2 products, one of them you're given changes in the price. And for another product, you're given the changes in the quantities demanded. Then automatically, what you can calculate is what is called a cross price elasticity of demand. You can calculate what is called a cross price elasticity of demand. So the cross price elasticity of demand formula, it is the percentage change in the quantity demanded of product X divided by the percentage change in the price of product Y. So you're given 2 products. For X, you're given the quantity demanded. For product Y, you're given the price. So we're going to substitute. So which product are we given the quantity demanded? It is tea. Quantity demanded of tea bags decreases from 10 to 6. Right. To calculate a percentage change, like we have seen before, to get a percentage change, you say the final minus initial. So final quantity minus initial quantity divided by the initial times 100%. You do the same thing for price. The percentage change in price is final price minus initial price divided by the initial price times 100%. And then you can substitute. Right. Q2, the final quantity, minus initial quantity. Right. So quantity is changing from 10 to 6. So 6 is the final quantity. So we're going to say 6 minus 10 divided by times 100%. So you're done with the numerator here, the changes in the quantities. Then on the denominator, changes in price. Price is changing from 155 to 160. So the final price is 160. So we're going to say 160 minus initial, which is 155. Then you divide by 155 times 100%. Right. So can you quickly put this on your calculator? Put the numerator on its own, 6 minus 10 divided by 10. What did you get?